welcome back to the Hive. I'm the Hive Mother, and today we'll be playing another day in Strange Horticulture. We just ended our day 5, Tuesday. The shop is now closed. We are just waiting for me to end the day. After day 5, I did do some shop cleanup. I did change up our plants up here at the top. I did do a little organizing. The top row is our identified plants labeled in yellow. I put the mushrooms, fungus over here to the left, and then going to the right we have our leafy plants. We have plants with fruits on them. This one doesn't have fruit on them. I don't know what technically this is called, but I did put him up here next to the fruity plants. And then down here I do have these purple labels on ones that I believe match the description but have not been technically identified by giving them to a customer. And then continuing over to our left, over here on the top we have our blue flowers going into purple and red, and then white and yellow. And this one does have a little bit of blue on it, but I'm gonna just leave it here in the back. With the end of day 5, Tuesday, our bar for the will to explore is high. It is bright and ready to go for tomorrow. So with that, we're just going to end the day. And with this, we're going to flip over another card here. The old man of Coiniston looks out across the lake with blind eyes. His mind wanders with the current, floating gently southwards towards the fork. Okay, looks like something we'll be able to use with our map today. Not long after the girl left home, her father wept, but he was so caught up in his own grief that he let her go and did not look for her. Okay. Day 6, Wednesday. It is another rainy day. I'm just going to pull out our little tool drawer here, put this down. While I was editing some of our videos, I did notice here in the note that I was thinking about this in the wrong way. So we're going to get into this today as well. And then I did want to let you guys know that I am working on some mic fixes. So I know the first few videos are rough. That is something that I might consider re-recording if the series gets a little popular. We'll go over that in the future, but as of right now, if you could just bear with me, I am dealing with the echo. Thanks again for watching and for making it as far as you have. And with that, I think we will be looking into row H, the third river today. So we're going to go over to the start of row H, and we are just going to scroll over to the right. This would be river 1, river 2, and river 3. We're going to give this a try. Cool, H11, a dead deer in the river, yellowed bone protruding from matted hide and rotten flesh. Death for one provides life for many. And we got a plant. Pretty plant. Nice. Give Hellbore a little pet for everyone. Give him a little purr. And let's see if we have a potential thought on what this plant could be. So I'm just going to flip through the book here and see what pages aren't already checked off and I don't have labeled. I do have this one labeled. There is a thought that I did have for this one as well, it being the eye bright, farmer's worry, that looks like a mushroom, fever kiss, gilded dendra, poison. Let's see what this is. The dark blue petals are soft and feathery to the touch. My fingers ache from handling this plant. Even touching the leaves of the plant can be painful. Okay, we're fitting in. I'm definitely feeling this plant. I don't have a lot of evidence to suggest that this is the same thing though, so just going off a hunch, I'm not going to label it at this moment. We do have some other clues to look into, so with our bar for our will to explore still being high, we're just going to jump right back into the map. Okay, and then in our previous video, we talked about this man wanting to meet us. Our friend Simone had saw him on her last trip and told us about him and gave us this note of the creepy man wanting to meet us. It's kind of strange. Headed west from said barrow, which is here. You could just go west, possibly near the source of the River Winster. Okay, in my brain, the source of the river would be where it was coming from. This is the River Winster, but instead we're just gonna maybe start at the tip. I'm not exactly sure where we left off the last one. I do remember we went from the base, the mouth of this river, over, but let's see if we start here today. Okay, that has gotten us somewhere, J22. And the hermit's camp is easy to find, nestled between two boulders above the spring. The cooled remains of a fire, ringed by stones, is the only immediate sign that anyone was here. I call out, but there is no reply. The hermit is not here. A more thorough search of the campsite yields something interesting. Tucked off to one side, I discover some broken pieces of wood arranged on the floor. Okay, down to over 3. So with that, I am going to go down to an over 3 from J22 and see where that gets us after I give our plants some water. We're just going to fill up our bars some more. The crackling thunder in the background really sets off the day, especially with us finding the dead deer. I believe I got the bar fill for that plant. He just needed a little extra water. It's okay. All right, with our full bar, we are going to press OK on this and just happen to remember that J22 was the place, and we're going to go down to over 3. Return to the shop, J22. We're going to go down 2, 1, 2, over 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. L25. The camp at the Winster Spring has led me to another camp of sorts, where I am greeted by an eccentric man. Oh, yes, yes, ho, 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 ho. The man says, you must take this, take it, take it. At his insistence, I receive the looking glass that he thrusts into my hands. He places an envelope delicately on top. Ho, ho, it is no use to me any more. Ho, ho, no use. Don't forget the red, the red, the red, the red, the red. Ho, ho, ebony. I'm sure that he's quite mad. Okay, we received an item. This is the first item of the series for us, and another letter. We're just going to go ahead and collect that. Okay, this is some kind of barred item. It has some kind of wheel here for measurement. Um, and I wonder what these little prongs on the side are for. It does seem to have a little magnification on it, but I guess we will find out in the future. Is that something that maybe we could use in our inspection? No. Okay, let's see what the letter says. I'm sure that this might have some kind of direction for us going forward. Of course it does. It's exactly like the picture. It is said that the red ebony plant has the property of uncovering that which is hidden or secret. I have perfected a device designed to use extract from the plant in concert with a viewing window in order to permit the user to see magics otherwise invisible to the naked eye. Okay, this is pretty interesting here. So I'm not sure at this moment how to use it. This design is very beautiful. It just seems to be how it was put together and where every bit and part goes. I'm very excited to see where this brings us in the future. I'm going to put this to the side. We did complete this quest that goes into the archive for us. We do still have a bar full for our will to explore. I think I might go ahead and see what else we can uncover today. We did pull this card at the beginning of this episode, the Old Man of Coinston. Okay, do you think Coinston is a place, the Old Man of Coinston? I do believe it seems like a place. Let's see if I can find it on the map. Gelston Castle, Godsworth, Havering, Whitefell, Mountains. The Old Man. That's interesting. Coinston Water looks out across the lake with blind eyes. Across the lake with blind eyes. Interesting. Okay, these seem to be two places. It's interesting. His mind wanders with the current, floating gently southwards to the fork. The fork in the river. Let's just take this guess. Nice. 017. The heavens open up as I reach the fork. I take a moment to pause and listen to the sound of water on water. I'm soaked through, but my spirits are high as I return home. I'm not empty-handed. 2 new plants today. And we have our 2 plants. Let's just go ahead and collect those. Ooh, they're so cute. I love this color. Perfect. And with our new purple plants, I'm just going to pop them down next to our pink ones. Just scoot everything down a little bit and make sure it can fit. It's kind of cramped on this end. Cool. So we got down 2 letters today, and we haven't summoned really any customers. So let's go ahead and see what it has in store for us today. Eleanor Brammer. The insects make the salt marshes uninhabitable. People stay away and not much grows there, but I know where to find an unusual plant. I have drawn you a map in case you decide it's worth your time. Okay, we're gonna collect. Hmm. I wonder if these two X's have anything to do with each other. I'm not completely sure yet. Maybe we might come across this other part one day. But until then, we're just going to take her clue, which falls in the letter category, and with our full will to explore bar, we're going to pull this puppy up and try and match it with what we are seeing on screen. It's looking like about here in this area. Just gonna line this back up. It's F2 is about where it looks like it falls. F2. So we're gonna go in. Cool. F2, the air is thick with flying, biting insects, an unbearable plague. I fight against it for mere moments before I'm overwhelmed. If only I had some blue winter to keep them at bay. So we are going to use one of our handy dandy plants, pull out our strange book of plants, and look for winter boar. On the next page, winter boar. Also known as blue aloe or blue winter, after its cool blue-gray flowers. Winter boar is a hardy plant, often found growing in extreme cold environments. The rubbery leaves make an effective insect repellent when applied to the skin. I believe, yep, so the winter boar is one that I had already kind of pre-labeled on what I thought it would be. It's got gray-blue flowers with an orange center. It's got gray-blue flowers. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this into our plant request box. Use plant and plant identified. So we were correct. We got a book entry as a reward for it. Drentheum, a plant with a powerful mind-altering abilities. Those who inhale smoke from burning its long, sharp leaves elevate their awareness to levels otherwise unachievable. Some know Drantheum as a green eye, a name derived from the telltale sign of overdose, where even the whites of the eyes take a green tint. Interesting. Okay, with that, our winter boar plant is identified. We are going to change our label up some. I do not have a lot of room going on up here, so I'm just gonna shimmy it on over and pop this puppy up here at the top. We have very select few blue plants to be relabeled. And with that, we're going to collect our new plant from this. The blue winter saves my skin, but the swirling mass of insects is so thick in places that it is hard to see. At length I come across what I came for and hurry away. New plant acquired. Okay, we've got some thorns here, a little spongy center with red petals. And our red plant is going to shimmy on over here. I am going to slide some of these purple flowers down to this side because I'm running out of room. I noticed that this one also has thorns, like the eye bright. Brightly colored thorns. South warmer climates. Let's pop this in the microphone. I'm sorry, the microscope. Those thorns look menacing. I'm staying well clear of them. Smells pleasant. This doesn't mention anything of thorns. So I'm starting to second guess my initial thought on whether or not this is the eyebright. But to be continued on that, we did complete this quest from that customer, so we're going to archive it. We only have 2 letters and 1 clue. We're going to summon another customer. Bethany Coleman, thank you for your help and discretion earlier. The Sisterhood is grateful, but the news that the Arda was poisoned with Gilded Dendra has everyone worried. The temporary acting Arda is panicking. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but one of the sisters has gone missing. A runaway called Thea that we took in a few years ago. We're trying to find her, and Sister Charlotte remembered that the Jacob's Worth plan is said to help locate people. Okay, Miss Bethany is one of our characters in our bio. She was the sister that the Arda took, or I'm sorry, the now deceased Arda took under her wing. We're going to get her that Jacob's Worth. Gonna pull that puppy up. Jacob's Worth. People tend to be drawn to the unusual flowers of the Jacob's Worth, but it is the leaves that have the most interesting properties. It is said they will point the way towards any person you wish to locate. So I did also have a pre-identification for this one, and I believed it was this. The leaves look pretty similar to the picture. Also, I also noticed under a closer inspection, the leaves seem to have a mind of their own. So it gave me a pretty good indication. I'm going to pop this into the plant box. And plant identified, the rewards. We got a book entry. We're going to go ahead and collect that. Solomon's Scepter, also known alarmingly as Hell's Gate and sometimes Solomon's Scorn. The flowers of the plant are commonly used in witchcraft and other satanic practices. Many sweet-smelling small flowers grow along the stem. Interesting. They smell alluring. That seems like a pretty good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and relabel Jacob's Worth with this color. He's not too blue. I'm going to pop him over here with the rest of my yellow flowers. Well, yellow and white flowers. We've got some more room in the blue area. We are going to close that up and summon another customer. Sorry, I don't know why we closed it. Peggy Morris. I read about a wonderful sounding ornamental plant, but my book didn't say what it was called or where to find it. It has curled leaves and a dark blue flower. Okay. Curled leaves, dark blue flower. She doesn't know what she's looking for. Curled leaves, dark blue flower, Lady of Summer, maybe? Let's go ahead and see what our description is. The leaves curl round delightfully, which combined with an attractive flower and a hardy nature make this a sought-after ornamental plant. Good enough for me. Use plant. Plant identified. Lady of Summer. Ennis Aylford. We've had our eye on you for some time now. Join us. Praise the Dendru. Interesting. He pops up in the bios, apparently. We do have another character. There's only 2 left unidentified. He is our 7th character, I believe, Ennis Aylford. He is a cultist. A man who claims to represent the group known as the Seeds of Redemption. He grew up in nearby Gosforth, but it is rumored that he spent some time living in Rydell Cave. It is not clear what happened in the intervening years, but by the time he came to Undermere, he had dedicated his life to the one he calls the Woken Dendrew. Interesting. I don't know if I want to join a cult, but let's see what it's about. We're going to collect his letter. I represent a group called the Seeds of Redemption. Your expertise would be very useful to us, and we have much to offer in return. Let us know we can count on you by leaving a single St. John's poppy flower outside the Sadgill Church before Friday. It's currently Wednesday. Do not make the mistake of ignoring us. Praise the Dendrew. Okay, that's a threat if I've ever heard one. Do not make the mistake of ignoring us. Okay. Well, I'm going to ignore my problems for now and pop that puppy in the letters and move on. I have until, I guess, the end of the day on Friday to make the decision to bring our St. John's poppy that we have already identified, which is somewhere up here, to join a cult. I'm not sure if I want to join a cult. Let's find out. Verona Green. I have returned from Swinside. I must admit I was hoping for more to go on, but there were certainly signs of a ritual having been performed at the stone circle. And the poor victim, well, the less said about him, the better. Reuben had it right, though, Priestley. I have the beginnings of a theory, but I'd like to run some tests on a sample of the gilded dendra. Okay, so what we have to go on the gilded dendra, I did think it was this particular plant. We do have a couple of other options though, so we're just gonna go into the contents and pull up the entry on our gilded dendra. Do not drink the sap of this plant. The lips and veins will turn black as blood. Succumbs to Dendra's mimosa. Miasma. A sure and painful way to die. The poison is so potent that even touching the leaves of the plant can be painful. So we remember we put this particular plant under the microscope and our fingers began to ache. I'm not seeing any other clues to indicate that it would be this particular one, but we do have the shape of this particular leafage. Let's see if we have anything else similar. I wouldn't say any of these that fall under the pink category would fit the description. Fungi don't have any leaves. These leaves look kind of similar, but it doesn't have anything else about being painful, and I kind of feel like that is a big indicator on this particular plant, so I'm going to say a nay to that one as well. These have large leaves, these have large pear-shaped leaves, almost, just very wide leaves, and nothing to indicate this long, flat shape. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to do it again. Whew. Okay. Dark blue flowers, smells of sweet rhubarb. These leaves kind of round at the top. These are flat, pokey leaves. Dark purple flowers, light purple flowers, leaves that poke out to the side. These kind of stand up, so I am leaning towards this one. We're going to go ahead and give it a try. We're going to use this plant. Plant identified. We have a murderer in the making. Book entry. Made in sorrow. Rubbing the soft leaves of this plant between one's finger and thumb is said to help prevent the mind from wandering, providing a focusing effect. The flowers of this plant droop mournfully, but it is the thorns along its stem that are thought to lend it its name. Interesting. We do have some thorny boys here. Um, Maiden Sorrow. Hmm. I'm feeling that this one is the Maiden Sorrow, and this one would be the Eye Bright. And of course, I'm not typing. And of course, there's a potential that I did not spell that correctly. I'm just gonna quickly backtrack over myself. And I spelled it right. Perfect. And our gilded dendra needs to go on this top shelf. He's a murderer though, so I'm gonna put him on a shelf by himself. That's where his home is now. It's a lonely home indeed. All right, with that, let's pull up our next customer. Anne Wood. My aunt died 2 weeks ago and I inherited her house. I've been sifting through her possessions and last night I found something unusual. In a forgotten corner of the attic, I found a coffin. More unusual still, it was bound by strong vines, so strong I could not cut through them. I immediately thought of your shop. You know about plants, right? Nice. Okay. She's got a body in her house. A little strange. She is looking for Royal Genta, and I did have this one pre-labeled. I felt that the petals here were very similar to our drawn description here, sometimes called Everheart. The pink flowers of the Royal Genta are made up of two large kidney-shaped petals. One of the few known ways to release the bind of swift snare is to apply a paste created from the sap of the Royal Genta. Gonna pop this in, use plant. Plant identified, book entry. Elder Phaninium. The petals of this flower can be brewed to create an antidote to Dendra's miasma, a deadly poison that causes the blood to slowly turn black, eventually resulting in a painful death. It has an intoxicating scent similar to that of Solomon's scepter. Okay, so there is a cure. I wonder how fast it takes the gilded dendra to work. This looks like a very specific plant. Nice. Alrighty. And with the last plant that we were just rewarded, it looks like the shop is closed for the day. Oh, I'm sorry, the last book entry. We've been rewarded. The shop is now closed for the day. We did get some new plants today. We went through a clue and some letters, and we received some new letters today and an invitation to a cult. Um, maybe not as much an invitation, but a threat to join a cult, and we received a new item, the red ebony. With that, we did identify a couple of new plants, which is very exciting as our plants numbers seem to grow. We have found the murderer and have put him off to the side. With our very full will to explore bar, I think that is where we will leave this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.